What's going on, family and friends? Welcome to another episode of the You Glow Nurse podcast with me, your host, Fallon Lopez. Y'all, I was out last week, so had to recover. Just had a long week. Was really feeling tired, so I had to take a week off. But I'm back again, and I got another amazing guest for season 4 on the podcast. So make sure you go subscribe, and share this podcast with another nurse who is on her wellness and self-care journey as well. So today's episode is with Sharon Ramirez. She is a co-author along with me in the new book, Latinas in Nursing. And she is also a nurse with a lot of background in nursing and a director of nursing as well. So we're going to talk to her tonight and ask a few questions. We're going to have a conversation. Season 4 has been all about purpose, y'all, really getting into the purpose, the passion behind nursing and what it means to regain your purpose again. What if you fell off? You've lost your way. Maybe you've doubted your purpose. You've been unsure about your purpose. Or maybe you just need like a purpose, like a boost in your purpose path. Well, this is the season for you. This is the podcast for you because we've been talking about all things purpose, redefining and restoring our purpose and what it looks like in a nurse's life. So make sure you like and subscribe and join our community for more podcasts, more resources. Today we have Sharon Ramirez on the podcast. Sharon is a Latina of Mexican and Puerto Rican descent. She was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. She currently resides in South Florida, where she has lived for the last 18 years. Her career spans over 15 years and includes experience in bedside nursing, oncology, pain management, and inpatient and outpatient surgical services. She earned her BSN from the Nova Southeastern University, as well as the MSN with a focus in Clinical Informatics from Grand Canyon University. She currently works as a director of nursing at an outpatient endoscopy center in Fort Lauderdale, Florida area. Sharon is an empty nester with 3 adult children. She enjoys traveling to visit them when her schedule allows. She has 2 extremely spoiled Yorkies, which occupy her time and keep her busy. In her spare time, Sharon enjoys gardening, which she finds gratifying and relaxing. That sounds like some amazing self-care right there. All right, y'all. Let's please welcome Sharon Ramirez to the show.
Hi.
Hi, Sharon. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure. You're actually Tina Loartha Rodriguez's cousin, correct?
Right. Yeah.
So we get to have you on here as well. We get to share more about what's going on in your life, how you've gotten to this path, to this position in nursing, and how you even were able to contribute to the Latinas in Nursing book, which yay, it's out now. Go
Yes.
ahead. This is
Yes.
your plug. This is our shameless plug. If you want to get some inspiration of stories of trust, of determination of Latinas in nursing, make sure you go grab your copy. The link is going to be in my show notes. All right, Miss Sharon. So let's talk about purpose. What does purpose mean to you in this season, in this time in your life? What have you learned?
Ooh, that's loaded. Um, well, as my bio said, I have 3 grown children, empty nesters. When they were younger, my identity was tied to being their mom.
Yeah.
And at the point that they were getting a little older, that I went back to school and I earned my degree, it was a defining, like I had to redefine myself. I had to find myself again, and they were leaving home. So, who are you now? My career has really provided me with, as you say, purpose. I I enjoy contributing to my community and helping the people in my community when they need us the most, and that in and of itself gives me purpose. So I think that's, for me, that's kind of a big part of my identity and who I am, um, because I get so much personal gratification from that, from serving my community. I take it,
Yeah.
it means quite a bit to me.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of us, when we get into nursing, we have this idea of like, oh, we're going to save the world. We're going to help others. It's going to be so great. It's going to be amazing. Right. And it's like, okay, you get in and it's like this cold slap of reality. Like,
Yeah.
it's not how you think it's going to be. So,
No, it's not. No, it's not. Sometimes it's the most unappreciated,
mm,
you know, I mean, there are days where, you get home and you are 100% spent, that
yeah.
there's nothing left. You have nothing left to give. And then we get up and we do it again the next day,
Mm.
so yeah.
So what makes you get up and go the next day? I know you share like the fact that you're able to help and contribute. So on a tough day, like what helps you get up and go?
Um, makes me get up? My sense of commitment. I'm
Mm,
committed to what I do. I think as nurses, going into that career, making the decision to go into that career, um, takes that sense of commitment. You have to
yeah.
be willing to do this every day, even on the days where, either you're not feeling well. I mean, how many days don't we go to work and we're taking care of the sick and we're not feeling well ourselves,
Yeah.
but we're there every day. We don't have the type of career that, you can't show up for. You
Yeah.
have to be there. You have to be there. So that pretty much does it for me.
Sense of commitment. I love that. Like to have such a sense of commitment in a career choice. It's not just a job. It's like
No,
it's a career. It's something that you wanted to do. Like you chose this.
you
And
build
yours
it.
started off. Oh,
You
you
build it.
built it.
You build it.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. When you first get out of school and you get that first job, what, 7 out of 10 times it's
Mhm.
bedside nursing. Um, that's kind of where you get your thick skin. That's sort of where
Mhm.
you get that soldier mentality where, okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna, grudge through this. I'm gonna get through this.
Push through.
Yeah, but then as you go along and your career firms up and becomes solid, and you start going in different directions, you're building at each stage with each position you
Mhm.
go into, you're building a little more. So when you've put that much effort into something that you've built, you're going to protect it. You're going to show up every day because
Yeah.
you worked hard to get there. I know I did. I
Mhm.
know I worked really
Yeah.
hard to get to where I am. So it's not something that I'm just going to take lightly and not get up that morning and go, so
Yeah.
that in and of itself gives me that incentive to want to get up and go.
Yeah. 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 It comes to like this point where you're just like, okay, this is maybe this is not the ideal like where I want to be. I think,
Hmm.
like you said, throughout different layers, different stages of your career, like maybe this isn't, but nothing's ever wasted. It's
Right.
still part of what's leading you to what's next. You're still going to use some of that, like whatever, wherever you land. And
Hmm.
I'm going through this personally. Wherever you land, you're going to learn something there. It's going to challenge you, but it's going to help you to the next level, to push you towards the next level and to get you
Absolutely.
further and closer to where you need to be. So I want to know about your background in nursing. I'd love to hear your nursing origin story, how it started, and maybe some of like where you got to now.
Okay. So out of school, I went straight into med surg oncology. So the unit that I was on was half med surg and half oncology. So on any given day, I could be on either side. um Oncology was, I think you and I had discussed a little bit earlier, oncology for me was the most fulfilling
Hmm.
nursing position that I've had thus far. I've
Yeah.
had several different positions. I'm in an administrative role now. And although it's meaningful to me, um, that portion of my career was the foundation of my nursing career. That really
Mm,
is what helped form for me the kind of nurse that I was aspiring to become. And so that was really where I grew from. That was where I
yeah.
blossomed. Was there when I was with that oncology population. Um, After about 3 years or so, it became really emotionally draining to be
Mm,
there every day, or
yeah.
my three shifts, my my 312s. It became really really challenging, because as I mentioned in the book, you grow close to these patients and you grow close to their families, and so after a while it wears on you when you lose them, when they didn't
Yeah.
make it. And one of the really great things about nursing is you can go and you can do something else. You can take
Yes.
what you've learned and now you can take it somewhere else, and you can do
Yeah.
something different.
I got
um
choices.
yeah, you have a lot of choices, and I chose to step out of the hospital environment, outside of the bedside nursing, and I went into an outpatient pain management center, and I did that for a few years. That was really great. I got to work. It allowed me to work autonomously. I didn't have as much. How can I say? It was a tough population to
Mm,
really warm
I
up
can
to.
imagine.
That was a tough
Mm,
population to warm up to. Um, the pain management area, you have to think when somebody has chronic pain, this is what
mm,
they do day in and day out. They just have that chronic pain. Um, it's hard for them to be pleasant sometimes. It's
mm.
challenging. It's a challenging,
Uh-huh.
Um, while I was doing that, I was approached and offered a spot in an AORN um, training class, certification class, with um, Cleveland Clinic Hospital. And
Okay.
so, although the main Cleveland Clinic is in Ohio, we have like a satellite here in Florida, and they had a peri-op program. And I don't know, I don't even know how they found me, but they found me. They offered me a spot in their certification class, which AORN is the training for peri-op nursing, which is the OR, being inside the OR. And
Association of OR nurses or something like
correct.
that? Yeah,
Hmm.
okay.
So I took advantage and pivoted again, and I ended up now in the operating room. So I did that for several years. I did that in a hospital setting, in an outpatient surgical setting, um,
Hmm,
and then after a couple of years, I went back into the hospital setting, which the outpatient and the inpatient settings are two completely different animals.
yeah.
They're not they're
Yeah,
nothing the same. Everything is very different. Um, I appreciate the fact that I've had the opportunity to work in both and that I'm
yeah.
fluent in both. That's really beneficial, and it really does help. Um, and so then I ended up becoming an OR manager, and then we were blessed with COVID. So
That's
during
that's
COVID,
good, bless.
um, during COVID, I became interim director of surgical services, which allowed me to oversee 5 different departments. So it was the operating room, pre-op, recovery, interventional radiology, and endoscopy.
Mm,
And that was a really challenging time. That was a challenging time for um, us as a population, but nursing specifically, was
yeah.
we faced so many challenges during the initial impact of COVID. Um, and then from there, I became an administrator of an outpatient surgical center. And now I am director of nursing at a different outpatient setting. So, so in
That's
each,
awesome.
like you said, there's something to learn from each step you take, and from every environment you work in. Nothing is lost. You grab everything, knowledge and professional growth in every interaction that you have.
Mm,
And you really grow from it. And I've been very
yeah.
fortunate to work with really great people. um, I've appreciated them seeing potential in me and offering me the ability to continue that path of growth within my career. So yeah, I'm very blessed and very fortunate.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think, just to see that growth, it's inspiring. And I just have so many questions. I'm like, where do I start? So you were in some environments that were like contributing to your growth. Like we were
Yes.
talking about this earlier.
Hmm.
Sometimes in another episode with Tina, uh we shared about we were talking about a lot of the authors in the book, how they shared like this common thread about like the imposter syndrome. And she was like, automatically she was like, oh, I don't believe in that. Like I don't subscribe to that at all. Like I believe it's the environments that we're in that don't allow us to grow and don't allow us to feel like we're valued. And that's really what imposter syndrome is all about. And I'm just like thinking about that. I'm just like thinking and thinking. I'm like, she's onto something there. Like, what about these environments that contribute to a nurse feeling like she's not good enough, or like she's not worth it,
Hmm.
or like she cannot contribute or something like that? So I'm loving the fact that the environment that you were in, the setting that you were in, allowed you for growth. And also I'm sure you had to make some difficult decisions in your path
Yeah.
as well. You had to kind of step up to the plate maybe, and like get out of your comfort zone, or like, do something that maybe, was out of your norm. So I'm curious to hear about that. You shared in your story as well, you were always like the nurturer one, or the one that was like caring to others, and someone saw that in you. So tell us about a time that maybe like you were forced to grow out of your comfort zone.
That the most significant one for me in my career definitely would have been when, as the OR manager, which all I was overseeing was the OR itself. 7
Mhm.
rooms, a small staff, I think of like 12 people, at any given time, maybe a little more than that, but really manageable. That was my real first managerial position. Um, and when COVID hit, and I got called to the administrative office, and the CEO and the CNO sat me down and said, we really think that we'd like for you to, take the interim director position. you know, we were just introduced to COVID, and all of a
Mm,
sudden, I was going to go from overseeing one department to 5 departments during a time there was so much uncertainty of what was going to happen. How were we going to do things? Because we were learning, and changing minute by minute, not even day by
yeah,
day, during that
yeah,
initial time. Um, so, not having a lot of leadership experience, and then all of a sudden being thrown into a position where now you're a leader of 5 different departments, and really there's no handbook here. Everything was by the seat of your pants, everything.
yeah.
So that was a time when definitely I had to take a look at myself and
Mm,
really kind of, you know believe in my own self and say, you can do this, you can do this.
yes.
And so that was probably the most challenging position that I've ever faced in my career, where really somebody saw that in myself. I don't know, if somebody would have said to me or asked me, do you think you can do this? I would have been like, oh, well, no, I really don't have the experience, or,
Yeah.
but I was kind of just sort of thrown into it, because although they asked me, they really weren't asking me. They were kind of
Come
just
on,
telling
let's be
me,
honest.
like,
You're voluntold. I was
yeah.
voluntold.
So, that was definitely something. So, I would probably say that was it.
Yeah, that sounds like I cannot even imagine, like, And and so what I hear these stories, I've had different stories and different interactions with nurses over my career, and I hear a lot about like you just get thrown into positions. Like there's, especially in managerial positions and supervisors and just directors, just upper management. Like I feel like even in those positions you can be burnt out,
Yeah.
and people run, like it can run kind of you can run thin in those areas too. Like there's a big need as well. Like we hear a lot about the burnt out of the staff and those of us on the front line, but then there's also the upper management behind them too that run very thin as well, because they get burnt out. They have so much on their shoulders too. So I can't even imagine going into this time where you're stretched and you're just like pushed into this position, not really wanting to, not even really sure yourself, but you rose to the occasion. And I love that positive affirmation that you just kind of shared with us, like that positive self-talk that you have to have, like that conversation, like I can do that. So tell us more about that. Like what are some ways that someone going through a new change, something like this, getting pulled out of their comfort zone, maybe can help them, maybe you experience, or maybe something you wish you would have done, to kind of help um encourage you in this journey?
Um, well, I'd say I know for myself. So, coming home that night, after having that meeting was sort of, wow, what am I going to do with this? I'm the type where I'm a very logical. I have to be very logical. I have to be very practical.
Yeah,
I have to walk through the steps. I have to know, okay, what steps am I going to take? I have to
everything
put
that's
together
gonna
a
happen.
plan, like it was all of that. This is your moment. What are you going to do with it? What do you want to get out of this? Where do you want to go from this? Where is this going to take you? Those were the questions that I was asking myself. And I remember thinking like, no, this is they if they gave this to me is because they think I can do this. And the heck,
Mm,
if if I'm going to prove them wrong, I'm definitely going to prove that, yeah, you made the right choice, and I can do this. One of the things that I have always done, even to this day as a director, is I remain humble. You always have to
mm,
remain humble. You have to know when you don't have the answer, put the ego aside, admit, hey, I don't have this answer, but can you help me find it? Where can I get it?
yeah.
Don't pretend, don't front and say, I got this. There's going to be times where you're like, yeah, okay, I got this. And you're like, oh, wow, I really don't have this. Let me go figure it out.
Yeah.
But when it's something, something big, be humble, be honest. And I really think that really gains you respect. I think
Mm,
people can respect that more than somebody that overshoots themselves, and then you come back and you fall flat. So
mm,
that was the one thing that I remember working out for myself that night was, okay, there's definitely stuff you don't know. You don't know. Go in there, find out what you don't know, then go get
mm,
those answers, But again, I know that for myself, I knew that my career was going in a very forward direction, and backwards was not an option. So it was roll with it, go with it. You're gonna do it. You're
yes.
gonna get there, because I wasn't gonna change that direction. There was no way I was gonna
Yeah.
go backwards. And yeah, I did it.
That's
I
I
did it. So,
yeah, for sure. You did it. You did
yeah,
it. It was scary. It was uncharted territory,
it
but here
was.
you are and
For
moving
me
on. Like,
personally, as well as even for the hospital, for
yeah.
everyone that was involved, this was uncharted territory, But definitely for me personally, that was a very huge leap of growth within that short
Yeah.
period of time.
Yeah.
Because definitely from day to day, I didn't have answers because there weren't answers to be given.
Yeah.
Where are we going to get PPE from? Where are we getting it from? The nurses need them. What are we doing here? How are we going to organize this? I at the time was actually earning my master's degree in
Oh.
clinical informatics. So I was working full time and going to school as well. And because it was clinical informatics, I was really interested and anxious to be part of the logistical part of figuring these things out, where
Mm,
we were reporting to the CDC, we were reporting to the state health departments, our numbers, how many patients were
mm,
diagnosed, how many patients passed away. These were population um, schematics that were being done to manage and to track COVID. And, so I was part of the managerial team, but I also was part of, putting the public health information together. So there was a lot going on. So
yeah.
this really was just a moment of poof, I went from 0 to 10 in,
A moment to arrive. You were arriving. You were like,
yeah,
becoming. Yeah, I love
exactly.
that. I love that.
Exactly.
And I just hear you saying like, all of the things that you learned even from the beginning, the compassionate nursing that you shared in the book that you started with, that brought you to, the being able to be flexible, being able to come to this space like, okay, I don't know what's happening. We're all dealing with all of these things. We're all dealing with something right now like, but I'm here,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna roll with the punches. I'm gonna get it done. If they're putting me here, like someone believes in me. So I mean, it's
Mhm.
amazing. Like there was, COVID brought us a lot of things.
It did.
COVID brought us a lot of things. It
It did.
challenged us. We had to learn how to be flexible. A lot of bad things, happened,
Mhm.
no doubt. But there was also some challenges, some moments where we had to grow, where we had to not only grow, but we could glow through it. And that's what I say
Mhm.
a lot in this podcast and my wellness journey. Like, you can have those growing pains, but you can choose to enjoy the journey. You can grow and glow through it, enjoying your journey. Like, how is that best done? If you take that personal responsibility, you're like, okay, I'm going to do the best that I can with what I've been given. That's like one of my affirmations I'm saying every day.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm gonna do the best that I can with what I got, like I've been put here, and some things, they just line up. It just starts to start aligning, and it's just like, oh, okay, I'm here. And then this happened, and then recently I had the opportunity to be charge nurse in the clinic, and it just aligned for me. And I was just like, oh, okay, here we go. And now I'm the charge nurse, and okay, like, I don't know how I ended up here, but it feels okay. It feels like I
Yeah.
can do this, and it was
Mhm.
successful. And everybody's kept their jobs. Nobody quit. All the patients made it out on time. So that was a win for me. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Everything starts aligning, and it feels like, oh, okay, I got this. I can do this. So I love that.
Sometimes if it's left up to you to take that step, sometimes fear or self-doubt come into play and we just don't do it. But when we're pushed into it,
Oop.
many times you realize, you find something within yourself and you make it happen. And COVID was definitely it definitely was not a great thing, but some good things did come from it, I
Yeah.
believe. you know Nursing, to me, the profession of nursing grew out of COVID. It grew
Mm-hmm.
from COVID, because again, just like for me, at that time when I was pushed forward, I knew I didn't want to go backwards. As a
Yeah.
profession, nursing was challenged to the brink, and we were pushed forward. We were challenged to the point that we really stood up. Like, I really believe that it was because of nursing that we kind of overcame COVID. We
Yeah.
played a huge
Ooh.
role. We played,
Yeah.
us as nurses, all these RNs, we played a significant role in
Yeah.
overcoming COVID and taking care of, these patients during that time when nobody else could, nobody else wanted to,
Yeah,
everybody was
everyone's
hiding
scared.
at home and with their
Yeah,
masks and, don't go out, don't go to the store, don't do this. But yet we were getting up every day and we were going to work. And now
yeah,
we moved forward. We projected ourselves forward. We're not planning to go back as a
yeah,
profession. And I think
yeah,
that a lot of respect for us came from COVID. That I think a lot of people saw the commitment that we had and that we, put forth. And I think that in some circles we got a lot of recognition for that.
yeah.
And again, I don't think we're going to go backwards. I think it's
I
only
love
forward
that.
from here.
I
So
love that you keep saying, like the forward movement, the forward motion. We going forward. Like it ain't no looking back no more.
yeah, there's
Like
no Florence
what's happened.
Nightingale here no more.
What happened in the past, the way things are running, like how people were unaware of healthcare, of how much we put in, like society as a whole was so unaware, or maybe just turned the other, just turned the blind eye to what was going on in healthcare. Like it brought to the front, like what all is going on, how much nurses work, how much we need nurses, how much this we brought everyone together, like you said. Like we really brought this camaraderie. Like if the nurses can do it, if they can push through, we can get through. Like if they can get up, go into the unknown, still take care of themselves somehow. Like we was eating
Yeah.
Taco Bell every day and barely taking
Hmm.
breaks and barely sleeping, and we were still, if they could overcome and show commitment, because we've been rated
Hmm.
the most trusted profession
Yep.
in America for
Several years in
years.
a row. But I think after COVID, it was like, wow, and we're demanding that respect.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that we're at a point where it's like, oh no, wait a minute,
Yeah.
no doc, you're not gonna belittle me,
Mm,
you're not gonna disrespect me. Years ago, there was you would like a doc would come in and, why did you do this? You can't do this, and whatever kind of put us down. And it was like, okay, yes, doctor, and now it's like,
yeah.
no.
We're part of
No,
the team. We
that's
helping you
it.
make decisions. You
That's
need
it.
us. Hello?
Exactly. Exactly. And so I think that in some ways I always try to see some positive somewhere along the line. Not
Yeah.
everything is bad, and you gotta, what happened, let's learn from it, and I do think that some good came out of it,
Yeah.
for us as a whole, you know.
Yeah. For me, for sure. And I was sharing with you earlier about how even before COVID, I was struggling with burnout, and then started my business as a health coach, trying to help others in a different way. And then through that process of learning about health and wellness, I learned more about myself. I learned more about, my mental health. I started getting into therapy, my relationship with God. I started really taking care of myself. So when COVID happened, I had these new coping mechanisms. I had these new coping strategies, not perfect at all. Like I still struggled, but when it came time to rise to the occasion, I was like, okay, I'm gonna rise to the occasion, but I'm gonna take my break. But I'm gonna try to get at least 6 hours of sleep. I'm gonna rise to the occasion, but I'm gonna go eat a snack real quick. I'm gonna go say a positive affirmation and I'm gonna come back. I learned so much more about pouring into my cup, pouring into my well, and taking care
Correct.
of me first, putting myself, prioritizing me and what that looks like. So I'm just curious about, like, as you go forward in your journey, like what are some self-care things that you're learning, that you're doing to provide that well-being for you in this time?
um I think, well, for myself, I really feel that that's one thing that's not taught in nursing school that I think should be part of the curriculum,
You
you
could
know
say that again.
because I don't feel that they really prepare you for that sense of burnout. Because when you first become a nurse, I remember when I first became a nurse, my ex-husband used to tell me, you were sleeping, you were like doing something, and I'm like, I was
Oh no.
scanning the Pyxis and
Oh no.
the pressure, you don't, I couldn't
Yeah.
turn it off, um I wasn't prepared for that sense
Yeah.
of, oh my God, if I make a mistake, if I make a mistake, I can kill
Yeah.
somebody if I make a mistake,
Yeah.
um definitely over time, you learn, or I've learned to, okay, work is done, that's done, I come back
Mm,
to that tomorrow, that's tomorrow,
yeah.
now this is me. For me personally, every 2 weeks I get a therapeutic deep tissue massage. Every 2 weeks,
Mm.
every
Every
two
two
weeks, every
weeks,
2 weeks, I'm on that
somebody's getting on
table
these
like, let's go.
shoulders.
Yep. That's something that I do for myself. I take time, I set time aside, I will soak in a bath when I,
Mm.
just Epsom salt, candles, a glass of wine. Yep, it's all gonna
Hey.
go down that drain when I let that water out.
Oh,
Um,
I love that. Everything, just draining
everything
everything out.
gets drained out, sucked through, and goes right down that drain. I come out, I'm refreshed. I'm better. It's like when you get on the plane and they tell you, you got to put your mask on
Yeah.
first before you can put, before you put the mask on your child or anybody else. If we're empty and we have nothing to give, there's no way for us to be able to efficiently and properly take care of another person. We can't serve if we don't take care of ourselves. So,
Yeah.
for myself, I try to meditate a little bit. Um, Sometimes I'll have a day, phone is off.
Mm.
I'm not doing anything. I know the groceries
Yeah.
have to be done. I know that the laundry has to be done. It'll be there tomorrow and I'll be able to
Yeah.
do it tomorrow. Um, you know, the other lesson, and I was telling my boss this, as a matter of fact, today, I was like, the one thing that I've really learned as I've gotten older is everything does not deserve a level 10 reaction. Like, you
Oh,
know,
come on.
everything is
Yes.
not a 10, like you got
Yeah.
to look at that and go, that's a 4. You're not going to get a 10 out of me for that, and really gauging yourself, being really mindful of the energy that you're putting out. So, if everything, if
Mm.
even the smallest thing, you're putting out a level 10 energy in a response, then you're just using up your energy and you have nothing left. You're going to run out of it a lot
Yeah.
quicker than if you
Yeah.
just, respond to things appropriate, really look at things, really, relatively speaking, how important is that? That's a quick fix. That's not a 10. So
Oh.
that's kind of like where I'm at in my life, and in this level, this part of my career is really judging and learning how to assess the situation, and yeah, there are times where it's a 10, that call light is going off, there's an emergency. Yeah, that's a 10.
Mm.
Um, Somebody came in half an hour late. Well, you know what? Get this one to cover. Have that one come and see me when they get in, so that we can, figure out what's going on. But no,
Yeah.
you're not going to get a 10 out of me. You know what I mean? So it's I think
Mm.
learning that. But definitely that comes with time. That's not something that you automatically have, and that's why I think that nursing programs should be including that as part of the curriculum. There should be at least one semester, half a semester, a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, where you bring people in that are going to help these students that are going to come out into the field with the
Yeah.
skills that they need from the door, from the gate, so that this way they're not struggling to develop skills, find skills that they have no way of knowing how to overcome, you know what I mean, to deal with these day-to-day um, newfound levels of responsibility that they didn't have before. So I do think that that's something that moving forward, I wish that if we could make any changes, that would be one of the things that we would change.
Yeah, like a whole let's talk about life as a nurse. Let's have
Hmm.
a moment and talk about this. How to take care of yourself, literally, cuz
Yeah.
nurses are getting younger, and let's be honest, a lot of us are getting our information from the internet or watching other people go through it. We're not
Yeah.
doing our real life experiences. People to people reaction is not, interaction is not, as common these days.
Hmm.
So when you dealing with that level 10, level 4, and you're giving it a 10 because you don't know how to interact. Like these are things that are not so common sense. Like I'm learning them all the time. Like I just love that you're like, oh, okay, let me gauge, let me assess, let me use my nursing skills that I use every day on others. Let me do some of that for myself. I say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assess ourselves. How are you feeling today? Where are you at? Have you had lunch? Did have you had enough water? Is that why you're hangry? Is that why you might react a certain way?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still carrying on from the home? What happened last night? Like what can make you react to that level 10? Well, maybe it's a 3, it's a 2, or maybe it's no reaction at all. So I love that you're like doing that personal assessment on yourself, and like you said, over time, give yourself time. I'm
Yeah.
learning that now. Give myself time. I'm still becoming, I'm still arriving, but everything that I've learned, everything that I have in my tool belt is helping me for the next level. It's helping me to get there, and I'm going to enjoy the journey along the way. And I'm
Yeah.
just learning, like last week I had this conversation with someone, and it was separating your worth from your works. That was one of the
Mm-hmm.
phrases she said, and that has been like a huge self-care. And I hear you saying that too. Like when you say just leaving work at work, like just disconnecting.
Yeah.
And something that's helped me leave work at work, and just disconnecting, is separating my worth from the works that I do. Like if I mess
Correct.
up, if I don't get it right, if I don't say the right thing, it doesn't dismiss who I am as a person. It doesn't devalue me as a nurse. Like there's some days it's just gonna be a rough day. I'm not
You're
gonna
human,
respond right.
but you're a human being first and foremost. You're a human being, so we are fallible. We make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. I think the other thing too is the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to learn ourselves aside from everything
Mm,
else, not as your career, not as a parent, not as a spouse, not as you as an individual, learning yourself.
yeah.
Because when you get up in the morning and you're getting ready to go to work, there are days where your cup is full 100%. I'm ready for the world. Got it. We're good. I'm going to do this. There are days you wake up and for whatever reason, whether you're physically not feeling well, whether emotionally you're not feeling well, whether you're just empty that day. You're
Yeah.
starting the day at 25%. Do you recognize that in yourself? Because if you recognize
Mm,
that in yourself, then you already know, okay, you know what? I know that I don't have a lot to give today. That means that I need to limit my interaction. I got to really stop and know how I'm stepping out the house today, because
mm,
you know what I mean? Like, but you got to know that about yourself. You have to be able to recognize that within yourself and know how are you going to handle that from the
mhm.
get, so that this way, as the day starts coming at you, you already have a way of somehow managing that. If not, it's just gonna
Yes.
all pile up, and before you know it, you're drowning.
Explosion. And drowning.
Exactly,
I say
exactly,
explosion.
exactly.
Had one of those last
So,
week.
so
I know.
so that's what I'm saying. But it all becomes with self, though.
Yeah.
You can't expect others to recognize that within you. You have to be able to
Yeah.
recognize within yourself and say, okay, listen, today is not going to be a really great day, so don't bring me anything that's gonna, just bring me the really heavy stuff. Other than that, keep all the
Yeah.
little stuff back. I don't have it today to take care of the little
Yeah.
stuff. um but yeah, I think that a lot of us get so caught up in the everyday. You just do it, and
Mm.
you go through life sometimes blindly. The other day something happened to me. I felt so silly. I got into my car. I was leaving work. I got in my car and I'm like, my cell phone, where's my cell phone?
Yeah.
Damn, I left my cell phone. I had already set the alarm for the facility and everything. I had to leave everything, leave my car, go back into the facility, take off, disarm the alarm, go through the whole facility, can't find my cell phone. I'm calling my cell phone so that I could hear it ring. Nothing. I'm like, damn, what the heck could I have done with my cell phone? I lock everything back up. I go to my car. As I'm walking to my car, sitting on the cradle is my cell phone. I had
Uh,
so absent-mindedly got into my car and put it on the cradle that I started looking for it because I didn't even realize that I had absentmindedly already done it. And I didn't see the phone until I got back to the car. Then I was like, don't you feel stupid? So, it's like sometimes we go through life, we could go through the whole day like that, just going through the
Yeah.
motions and just, and
Mhm.
I think that we run on empty and don't even realize that we need to replenish, that we're at a point that we need to replenish because we're on fumes. Um, so I think that that's something that as individuals we need to spend some time on is ourselves. Where are you today? How are you
Yeah.
feeling today? How much do you have to give today? And on those days maybe you delegate a little bit more to your team. Maybe you know rely on your team to maybe handle some of the stuff that you would normally handle, and have them take on a little more to ease yourself up a little bit. Maybe that day you
Yeah.
need it. But I think that's something that we need to do for ourselves more often, that I don't think we do enough.
I love that story you share. Like I've done that so many times. Like I'm like looking for my phone. I leave my phone at the house and now, oh, it's in my car this whole time. And it's just like, wow, okay, it was here the whole time. But definitely like I hear you saying like asking for help. Like it's
Hmm.
okay
Yeah.
on those harder days. Like sometimes that's self-care. Like
Yep.
I need to go take a break, y'all. We have this thing at my job, code purple. Like, okay, you got your code blue, code red, code yellow. Okay, code purple. I need to go. Don't talk to me. I need a few minutes. Just give me some time. I needed one of those the other week and I had to ask my coworker, I'm like, can you just cover? Because I cannot. Like if I just push this down some more, I'm not gonna be okay. I'm not okay. I am not okay. So just give me a few minutes. I'm gonna step outside, handle this, and I'm gonna be okay. And it's the
Yeah.
hardest thing to ask
It
for help.
is. It
To
is.
be like, I
Um,
can't do this right now.
Especially being in an administrative role and being in a leadership role. I know
Mm,
it's really hard to say, I don't got this for the moment. Right now, this one moment in time, I don't got it.
mm,
That is hard. But like you said, you have to be able to sometimes separate, put the ego aside and separate it and say, for the betterment of everybody, the patients,
mm.
my staff, I need to step away for just a moment, or I don't
Yeah,
have it right now, or can you help me with this?
yeah,
um because sometimes that's hard for us. It's hard for us to admit that sometimes, but again, I go back to, we're human. So before we're a nurse, before you're a director, before you're anything, you're a human being. So we just have to remember that about ourselves.
yeah. You're human. Give yourself some grace and some space.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of grace in
Yeah.
this nursing life. We need it. I
Hmm.
think we're so hard on ourselves. I know personally I can be my own worst critic at most times, and I'm like, why am I being so hard on myself? I made it through the day. Like nobody died on me. I made it through the day. Like, like it's okay. It's going to be okay. And
Yeah.
sometimes just saying it's a bad day, not a bad life just helps me as well. Like there are some affirmations sometimes, just being really positive what I'm saying to myself like
Hmm.
over and over like what am I repeating to myself? Um and being really intentional about that is has really helped me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Miss Sharon, it has been really special
Thank
just
you.
chatting with you these last few these last moments that we've had and we could go on for sure. um I'm just excited about what the Latinas in nursing is doing for our nursing community. Like this was just a tidbit of what Sharon's story is, and she talks about her journey from learning compassionate nursing, being a leader, and then just how she's evolved through this process, y'all. So you definitely want to check out more of her story. So grab Latinas in Nursing. Right now we're on Amazon, and I'll put that link again in the show notes for y'all.
We're
Sharon,
on
is there?
Kindle too.
Yeah, we're on Kindle. I
We're on
didn't know.
Kindle.
I didn't even know that. Look, let me
Yeah,
find that.
Tina sent out a message the other day that, yeah,
We're on an audiobook.
audiobook. Yeah, I
That is
believe so. I
wonderful.
believe she said we're on Kindle. I'm almost positive.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. If not,
Yeah.
it's coming soon. Yeah. Like,
Yes.
any last words as we wrap up for today, Sharon?
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. This was a lot of fun. I'm really excited about Latinas in nursing. I think that it's really giving us a voice to give incentive and inspiration to other Latinas that are thinking about becoming nurses. It is a really gratifying career. You have so much opportunity.
Yeah.
To go in so many different directions with it. You don't have to be pigeonholed into just one aspect of nursing. So if it's something you're thinking about, go for it. It
Yeah, yeah. It's worth the effort, and
really is.
it's been one of the hardest things in my life to do, but I am so proud of how far I've come and how nursing has come through all of, my career, like just seeing everything evolve from how things went with COVID and until
Hmm.
now. And we need more nurses to
We
contribute
do.
to that, to
We
to
do.
add to that, and to change
Hmm.
the face of healthcare. So we need you nurses. For sure. For sure.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Yes, it was so fun chatting with you. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we can meet in person soon. Like if Latina Nurses has like a in-person event, I'm trying to go. Like
Definitely.
I really, really
Definitely. I
am.
would love to be there. Hint, hint,
Yes,
Tina.
yes.
No.
Okay, we trying to make something happen.
All righty.
Giving
Well,
her
thank you
something
so
nice.
much.
For sure, for sure. All right, y'all. There we go. Thank you, Miss Sharon Ramirez, for just blessing the stage on the You Glow Nurse podcast. I just loved hearing from Sharon and just being able to absorb all of the journey of purpose and her purpose path. And I just hear that forward trajectory, y'all. We going forward. There's no more looking back. Like what happened in the past, it gave us the tools that we needed to move forward. So if you are moving forward, continue to move forward, continue to keep pushing, and take care of yourself along the way. Be more present with understanding who you are as a human first, who you are before the career is going to be pivotal to your longevity in this thing. And we need nurses. So taking care of yourself along this forward trajectory of your nursing career, y'all. I'm so excited to continue the podcast, to continue the conversation, y'all. So make sure you go like, subscribe, leave me a comment, share this podcast with other nurses who may benefit from this conversation. I know they would. And let me know what you thought about today's conversation. Share with me anything that you might have gained from us sharing tonight, y'all. It's been real, too real, and I can't wait until next time. I'll see you. Bye.